Vini, hello and welcome on GM Web3. We should have had this interview a few months ago, but for different reasons, it did not happen before. But never late. Mieux vaut tard que jamais. Never late than never. This is something that we say in French. Vinny, for those who don't know you in the audience, can you maybe start by introducing yourself and especially the part of your life before MultiversX? Because you popped up on MultiversX a few months ago with a post, with involvement, with some analysis, benchmarks, and so on. But I don't know if the community really know who you are, what's your background, what you've been doing before. So yeah, can you tell us who are you?
Hey man, yeah, thank you very much for having me here. It's a surprising outcome to be here, honestly, and I really appreciate what you're doing. So yeah, my background. I have done a lot of things in my life. I have a background in communication, and I have worked with big Brazilian banks, with a big Latin telecom company, but I'm not a corporate guy, so I moved on from that. Before doing crypto 100%, I have had two companies, and I spent some time playing poker regularly and got some money from there. So yeah, I have done like a lot of stuff. And in 2021, I decided to go full time in crypto, work in crypto. I started with a small news outlet in Brazil. It was called Coin Times. It was a niche outlet, so we were reporting more from a tech point, from an cypherpunk point, and we grew from there. I have also provided services for content services, writing, freelance, and etc. for big companies in Brazil that are in the crypto industry. So almost all the main exchanges at one point dealt with me communication wise. I wrote blog posts, I helped them with social media. I gave consultants for influencers, for their influencers, and so on. At one point, I decided to go international because the dollars are better than Brazilian real. So I started working with Finbold full time. I worked with them for a year and a half, more or less. And this was more or less the same time that I joined MultiversX, the MultiversX community. Before that, I was a strong supporter of Nano and Monero mostly. I wasn't that much into DeFi. I tried a few things. I tried Ethereum. I tried Solana. I tried Avalanche. I never like felt these were the things. So DeFi had my interest for the premises it had, but I didn't find any technology that like I was comfortable with saying, okay, this will grow and this will actually become something that I want to use. Uh, that changed with Radix. Uh, Rest in peace, Dan. Great guy. I was red pilled by Radix into sharding, into native assets, into some cool stuff MultiversX has. And at one point, I just met MultiversX in one of the threads, I think mostly from DB and Davey, and started studying MultiversX and got very interested in it. I saw like MultiversX had many things that Radix was still building and was still not delivered, not shipped. So the sharding itself, MultiversX was a larger ecosystem. And I really liked to engage with the community and what I started to find out. So that's how I work. So if I meet a project I like, I start studying it and I start to post about it and share my findings and share my discoveries. That's what happened with MultiversX. The more I dove in, uh, the more I liked it. The community is engaging. So it also, as a content creator, it's a great thing because you are posting things and you are getting likes and people are engaging with you, so you're not talking to the wall, basically. So yeah, it hooked me, and I started to get more and more and more involved, and to a point we met.
What you say is very interesting. As a content creator, it's important the social layer. I mean, when you say that I was
Yeah,
posting things and it was well welcomed by the community, so I was not just talking to a wall. Definitely, this is something that I think is very important for you as a reward. And also, I think for our ego. I mean, when you post something
yep.
and people say you're great, thank you for your analysis, you're awesome, you're and so on. And this can sometimes be very, very important to continue, to progress, to do more, to do better. But at a point, it can be maybe another problem. You know, when everybody tells you what you say is awesome, your analysis are great, thank you for your support, you're majestic, you're extraordinary, and so on. And at the moment you start to believe what they all say, depending not about the content itself, about the quality of your work, which is great, by the way, but maybe they want to read what you write anyway. So this is something that we'll speak about all together, about the social layer and maybe some cognitive bias and motivated bias. They can maybe lead some content creator to write something that is not exactly what they think, but what their audience wants to read. So we'll see if sometimes it happened to you or to other KOL. So we'll speak about it later. But as a crypto writer contributing to outlets like CoinSpeaker, Agorist, Cipher, what was the main topic that you covered, that you were focused on your article, and how has that shaped your perspective with MultiversX, but with Web3 in general? You say that DeFi was not exactly your cup of tea, but so what was it about on your different articles and domain of interest?
Yeah, so there are two things to that. What you said first also makes a lot of sense. There are two things in how I create content, and how I work, basically, because most of all, like, I'm working on that, I'm professional on that. So there is Vini on X that is sharing his opinion. Okay, so everything that I post on X is genuine interest. Uh, of course, we need to have some feeling, and try to find posts that will generate engagement or not, but that's really not the goal. It's just to share my views, share my findings, and share the things I'm excited about, or the things I am worried about and concerned, and think that are worth discussing. So this is one. Everything that I post on X is genuine opinion, is my opinion, is how I'm feeling at that moment. Some posts will have one like, some posts will have 100 likes. This is mostly due to the algorithm. X algorithm is weird at some extent. I gave up trying to understand it, so I just keep posting. I try to do my best, and learn from experience what works, what not. But I'll never not post something because I don't think it will work for the audience, or I'll never like post something I don't believe just to get hype, and to get engagement. This is one. Two, when I am working for someone else, that's a whole different thing, and especially because it has money involved, right? So if I'm writing for a coin speaker, if they will keep me there as a writer, uh, is only because I'm bringing audience to them. It's only because I'm worth, monetarily speaking, being kept in the payroll, right? So they pay me for my articles. If I don't deliver a good result, if I don't bring audience to them, I'll not get paid at one point anymore. So when I work for these platforms, I try to be flexible and adjust for their audience. So what CoinSpeaker readers want to read about, and not what Vini want to talk about. If you want to meet my personal opinion, you shouldn't be following my authors page in CoinSpeaker. You should be following me OX. If you like CoinSpeaker types of story, because I'm not the editor there, I'm just the writer. So everything that I write, I first need to pitch to the editor. The editor approves or not, and the editor will also revise what I wrote. He will change the title, and he will add
think,
his input as
I
well.
think it's clear
Yeah.
for everyone the
Okay.
difference between what you say on X and what you write for the different media. But yeah, so back to the question: what's your domain of interest on Web3? And that you write on the article as a writer. What
Yeah.
excites you the most on Web3 at the moment?
Yeah, payments is my first passion, because it's the thing that I can use right now the most, and it's not limited by projects. I can keep using payments in crypto in any project I support. I don't need to be on X or Y project specifically. I just need to find people that want to pay me in a Qhens, and other people that want to receive in the same Qhens. So payments is great. I like the open source nature. Most of my setup is open source. I use Linux. I use a lot of projects that are open source. So I like this part of crypto as well, and privacy. If I could only talk about three things, these would be the three things I would talk about. And DeFi, I started to dig more into DeFi recently, in like the last 2 years, I guess. But yeah, it's also something that excites me. But DeFi is a bit limited to the crypto environment itself. So, but yeah, it's still interesting, and I still like to write about it and talk about it often.
Okay, so you arrived on MultiversX. You said us how, and yeah, you started to post things on X, and you got spotlight by members of the community, by founders of the blockchain, and after you became the first range of ambassadors of xAlliance. xAlliance is like super team for MultiversX. It was created 1 hour, 1 year ago, a bit more, and you have xAlliance members. So mostly every builders on MultiversX are members of xAlliance, but they launched a few months ago the ambassadorship program with people all around the world. What was the difference between just being a member and being an ambassador, and how did you see it as an opportunity for you to do more on MultiverseX?
Yeah, so the ambassador program, actually, as you said, came through the xAlliance. Uh, on xAlliance, it's great. xAlliance is like a great place to network and to build things together. So you have, as you said, this whole set of builders that are chatting, that are changing experiences, changing insights, and etc. And there are also opportunities that come for xAlliance only. I think the ambassador program was one of them. Besides the usual things, there were grants for hosting events. So there were a larger support for hosting events than only for the xAlliance. The xAlliance events were a bit more low budget. While being an ambassador, we were dealing directly with MultiversX DevRel, and the budget was a little bit higher than if you would do for xAlliance alone. The ambassador program also allowed, theoretically, ambassadors to go for events and represent MultiversX there, all paid by the foundation. I never used that feature in these 3 months, but this was one of the possibilities. Um, and I think mostly that, and like the directly contact with MultiversX DevRel also allowed me to do some actions I liked to do. So one of the actions I did as an ambassador that I would probably don't do in xAlliance was being like the bridge between the foundation and a new campaign they were doing to onboard some devs in a dev focused school near X in Brazil. So I was there representing the MultiversX Foundation and helping onboard and and make sure that the campaign was going well as expected, because the MultiversX Foundation didn't speak Portuguese, so they needed someone locally to represent them.
Okay. So as an ambassador, you repeated several times that it was not a paid job. It was completely, I don't know how to say, benevolent,
Yeah, volunteer.
volunteer. Yeah, thank you. And so during the weeks, maybe 1 month, 2 months, I don't know how long you were
three
an
months
3 months.
Yeah.
You organized a meetup with people. What else did you do as an ambassador? And did you want to do more? Was there any limits, things that you would have wanted to do but you could not, or you did exactly what you wanted as an ambassador?
Yeah, so I didn't do everything that I wanted. So I wanted to do 3 events. I only was able to do one. Uh,
Why?
I,
I mean,
yeah, because of lack of time mostly. It wasn't a pay job, so I need to prioritize some other stuff in my life. At one point, like life happens. I wish I could have done more, but it was a volunteer position, and the foundation understood that. So they established some goals they wanted us to achieve, uh, but they couldn't really demand that, because they weren't paying me, and other ambassadors as well. So I was doing my best. I did a lot actually in my free time for that. I wrote some articles. I helped with revising documentation as well, the MultiversX documentation. I did some background work that people didn't see, and I did some front end work that people did see. So yeah, I definitely could have done more, but I think I did everything that was possible with the time I had available for a volunteer position.
do you think it should have been more efficient, uh, or maybe more appropriate to pay ambassadors to give them more means, maybe more motivation, and to keep them and to incentivize them to push more? First question. This is about the ambassador program because
Yeah.
I know you know other ambassador programs from other blockchain we'll speak about. So do you think it would have been better to make it as a paid job first? And second, why do you think it would have been better to find ambassadors outside of multiverses? I mean, if it's just about Davy or DB Crypto, okay, the difference between ambassador and not ambassador, we don't really see the difference. They are created content for years. They cannot do really more. If you got some people outside, you can outreach, you can reach like new people, new community, new things, new vision also. So yeah, what's your overall opinion of this ambassador program? Let's mention to the audience, first time they talked about ambassador program, it was 3 years ago, I think. You were not here at this time, but it was about some country ambassadors, so in France and in different people, different country, and actually it never really happened. So that's why I wanted to have your opinion about this, like first attempt for this ambassador program.
Yeah, it's tricky. I have seen a lot of different programs. I was an ambassador for Nano, and it was also a volunteer position. And I know most blockchains actually pay for the ambassador. So of course, paying helps prioritize time, right? If you're paying, you have a commitment. At least that's how I I see things. You have a commitment, and you have some deliveries that you gotta do because you're being paid for that. That's a work, literally. So yeah, it helps setting priorities better. Of I do believe that if ambassadors were being paid, they could have delivered more, but it's also tricky. Like, is it worth it, or how is it seen by the others? I do know that there is a huge prejudice for paid positions. So when you are being paid to be an ambassador, people start questioning: is he talking about what he believes, or is he talking about things because he's being paid? So basically, is he a paid shill, or is he an enthusiast? I think the volunteer aspect of the ambassador, I really like it. Gives you more this organic nature to what you are doing. So you are really doing that because you believe on the project, because you want to contribute. Maybe you have some bags that you want to pump. I don't know. I think most people that promote a project hold some tokens of the project, and there is nothing wrong with that. But the volunteer aspect of things make things more natural, and I think that it gives more power to the messages that sent to the outside. Uh, Getting people from the outside that don't necessarily are within the MultiversX ecosystem, I really don't think this is a good thing. I do believe I do see how this is a valuable marketing tactics, but yeah, at this point, your ambassadors won't be seen as genuine enthusiasts. They are just paid shield. They are paid actors to talk about your project. This works, right? So this works in many industries, especially in Web2. You have paid actors, influencers, KOLs that are shilling products that most of the time they don't use themselves, but this gets revenue to the company. So if you ask me, does it work? Of course it works. Do I like it? No, and I think it kind of goes against the crypto ethos. Maybe it's needed. Maybe it's something that's needed to do. I don't know. But I probably would not sign up for this position myself as an ambassador. And I'm not in the position to advise what the foundation should or shouldn't do. Like, there are trade-offs in both ways of doing things.
I think we are all in position to give our opinion of what they should, what they should not, what we've seen on other ecosystem. In an initiative like Super Team or Ambassador Programship, you have, in my opinion, two way of thinking, and um, it's about balance of power. If
I meant just because I don't have the answer. So I don't have. I'm in the position to advise the foundation on that because I don't have
oh,
the answer. Yeah,
okay,
but yeah, sure, I agree with you.
but I was saying it's about balance of power between people who wants to be ambassador and the need of the community to hire ambassador. So, for example, I was talking yesterday with someone who is going to TV show to speak about crypto, and he told me we're not paid for this because when I go to the TV show, I haven't I earn some legitimacy, some audience, and I earn from that, for my companies, for my project, and so on. And if I don't want to go there for free, they will be able to replace me in a second, because so many people wants to go to this TV show to speak about crypto. So the balance of power is in the TV show side. In terms of ambassadorship, if you have like plenty of people who wants to be ambassador, for example, Solana or Base, there's a successful blockchain in terms of ecosystem. There are like thousands of people who would love to be named as ambassadors, so you don't have to pay them at all. On MultiversX, as far as I know, there are not that many people that wants to be ambassador. So the balance of power, in my opinion, and at the very moment of today, is not in the MultiversX side. So I think you can pay, you can reward, you can give some means. It's not just about paying, it's about giving some incentive to motivate people to allocate some resources, some time for this job, which is, in my opinion, a very important job for a foundation to have ambassadors, to attend international events, to organize meetup like you did, for example, to create some relevant and interesting analyses and posts and interviews and so on, like you did on X. So that's why I think we can have an opinion about that. We can be wrong, of course, but I think it's like in every negotiation and in every situation, it's about balance of power. Um, but it was just my take. After 3 months, you decided to stop being an ambassador, and at this moment you started, or maybe a few days before, you started to speak about near. So in the community, some people understood that, okay, you stop being a MultiversX ambassador because you start to speak about near. So they make, uh, um, the link
The
between.
human the human mind tend to do that, right? So
Yeah, but
you tend to find explanations sometimes
yeah,
and links
but
where there isn't any. But yeah,
I think you cannot not know it before you do this. In my opinion, if I am a MultiversX ambassador, and just before or just after I stop being an ambassador, I start to post about another blockchain, uh, you cannot tell me, oh no, it's completely unrelated, and I don't understand how people can do the link between both.
I do understand. I do understand why this happens, but doesn't necessarily needs to be intentional just because I understand that. So as I said, like I will never not say something that I want to say just because of fearing what others will think about it. But I'm not responsible for what others will think after I say, right? So I'll just keep saying, and people can think whatever they want. And if they want me to clarify, they can ask me, like as you are doing right now. So if you don't understand what I'm doing and want me to explain, you ask me, and I will explain. But I'll never not do something like if I'm excited about near, I'll never not post about near just because the multiverse community must create links that doesn't exist. But yeah, I can explain that. So the ambassador program was a 3 month pilot program. At one point, it would end, and we would renew or not uh, what we had agreed upon with the ambassador program. The 3 months ended, and I decided that I didn't want to continue in the ambassador program because I wasn't delivering as much as I thought I should be delivering to be an ambassador, both because of the foundation, because of not delivering, and because of the community, in respect of the community, but also because of me. Because when you bear the title of ambassador, there is an extra pressure on you, and you need to be more careful with things you say or don't say. For example, if I were a multiverse ambassador and I started bull posting about near a lot, I think that the community wouldn't like that, right? So at the moment I left the ambassador role, I felt more free to talk more about near. That's one. So I'm not started talking about near because I left the ambassador role, but I just felt that uh, the backlash would be lower if I kept the ambassador role at the first point. That's one. Two, we talked about earlier how the algorithm on social media can be tricky, and that's the point here, because I never ever stopped talking about other blockchains in my expos. Maybe the multiverse community didn't see these things because the algorithm wasn't delivering the post to them. But I never stopped talking. I kept talking. I talked a lot about Avalanche because there are things on Avalanche that I like. I talked about Sui. I talked about Near before. I talked about Nano that I like. I talked about Monero that I like. I talked about a lot of other stuff that I like. But this wasn't being delivered to the MultiverseX community. So the impression is that I only talk about MultiverseX because what the MultiverseX community receives is MultiverseX related posts, right? So there's that. I never stopped talking about it, and
Remind me.
never changed it for me. Nothing changed for me. Sorry.
No, no, it's okay. Remind me, people that used to say you only say bad things about MultiverseX, and I said no. Just the algorithm make that my critics, my negative critics, are more popular than my shootout and my support of MultiversX and project on it. But that's the way it is. But I understand what you say. Um, just why did you decide to stop being an ambassador? Was it the first step for you to start to doubt about MultiverseX at this very moment, or not at all? It was just a matter of time, like you explained at this moment.
Yeah, many things. I never make my decisions based on one thing or another. So many things always life happens, and many things are happening at the same time. So at the same time that the ambassador program was coming to an end, that I was seeing that I didn't had as much time as I would like to be an ambassador really. uh that was when the X Portal account started to talk a lot about Sui, and they literally, and I have proof for that, they went one entire month without mentioning MultiversX at all. So they went silent about MultiversX. Xportal, a MultiversX Foundation connected company. I don't think we need to explain that to your audience. I think they know it. You have done a great job exposing that. So Xportal, for what it is, everything that Xportal is started it stops talking about MultiversX at all, only talks about Sui, and that of course is a financially motivated decision. It's a business decision, but they stopped talking about MultiversX, and they do a lot of posts per day. So in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm struggling here to find time to talk about MultiversX, to find interesting things to share with my audience, to try to host meetups, to try to promote MultiversX, to onboard people to MultiversX, and etc., etc., etc. And one of the main companies in the MultiversX that is owned by the co-founders of MultiversX is not talking about it. What I'm doing, like what the fuck I'm doing. uh, it just didn't felt right at that time, and this contributed to my decision of stepping away of the ambassador role. So if Exporto isn't doing, yeah, I'm definitely not doing as well in my free time.
It's very important, very interesting what you
Yeah.
say, and thank you for sharing this feeling with us. Because when Exportal announced the launch of the token, the potential token in the future soon, and so on. In my opinion, it was the first um, the first hit on the MultiverseX Foundation and the EGLD, because Exportal was financed 100% with the EGLD. Same for X Exchange, same for X Launchpad, same for X Money. We'll speak about it, of course. So when they announced the potential issue of their native crypto, it was the first hit. When they decided to open themselves to Sui, in my opinion, it was something that could be good if I can see the direct profit for MultiverseX and EGLD holders. And when the partnership with Sui was announced, with my friends from MultiverseX, we updated the app, and we saw that the Sui space was completely disconnected from the other part of the X portal. So when Sui people are coming to X portal, they don't see MultiverseX, they don't see EGLD. They have their own X portal. At this moment, it was the second hit. Like, okay, you're opening to a new ecosystem, but how it will bring value to MultiverseX and EGLD and so on. And the third hit, in my perspective, was when Benjamin answered the question how these strategies, these product strategies, can bring value to MultiverseX and EGLD. And he answered in a document I shared many times that when these companies will be worth $1 billion, will sell equity to buy EGLD. And at this very moment, I said, okay, you're selling real stuff like equity to buy speculation, EGLD. And this buyback thing uh, was the third hit in the way I think the Minkus don't have a clear vision of what is bringing value to a project, to an ecosystem, and so on. So, what you say that this decision from Xportal to stop posting about MultiversX and EGLD for a time, because since they posted about MultiversX again a bit, uh, is very interesting because it caused some defiance from the community and especially yours. That's what you are telling us this morning. So it's interesting. What do you think about this strategy to make entities independent, whereas they were financed by EGLD? Do you think it's a good move, or is it just a false dilemma? It's this or death, because this is the way they're selling this strategy to the community. This is this or death. So it's hard to critique this.
Yeah, this is a false dilemma, and I mean, even if this is a dilemma, I have talked about it before. Like, if it, just addressing the are this or death stuff, like this is usually a false dilemma, and even when it's real, then it is a red flag that the project has far bigger problems than what is being doing in the first place, right? So if you get to a point where either you do like a radical change that negatively affects the people that have supported you for a long time, or you die, I mean, that's because you have made a lot of mistakes before that led to this death, you know? So there are bigger problems. I have said that many times, also related to this false dilemma that is often presented to the community. So I believe it's a false dilemma, and even when it's real, then you should think that the project has worse problems to solve. But yeah, sorry, what was the question before that?
No, about the strategy to make this X product either
Okay, yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
terminate them, like X World, X Fabric, they
yeah.
terminated them, and those who remains to make them independent and to struggle to explain and to convince the community that these independent entities will bring value to MultiversX and EGLD.
Yeah, before like having a deep thought into that, I really didn't mind these entities not bringing value because I didn't understood how they were funded with EGLD, but now I do. So now I do see some problems there. But I like the independency part as a whole. So I like it because it removes the weight from the foundation. It removes the spendings. Like here's the deal, because if the project is not profitable by itself and doesn't is not generating that much revenue, it is a liability, right? So you have a company, you have the foundation, and you need to pay for these projects to continue existing. And this was the whole problem that the community was seeing and was criticizing, because these projects were draining a lot of resources from the foundation, and weren't really generating revenue and bringing value. That before going independent. So they go independent. By going independent, they stop draining the foundation resources. So at one point, and being a devil's advocate here, this is a good thing for the foundation, right? Because even if you made mistakes in the past that made you lose resources to projects that are not generating revenue, now you make a correct decision of stopping this leak, addressing, fixing this leak, and making these projects independent. From this point of view, it's a great thing that the projects went independent, because you stopped the drain, you stopped the leak, the money leak that you had within them. But at another point, and another point of view is that once they started generating revenue, they are not directly flipping this revenue back. And what you said, the Benny's answer to these questions were, I guess, the second or third like doubt, if I can say, related to the project, because I saw this answer and I said, okay, there is nothing tangible here. Uh, so when we reach 1 billion, we might sell equity to buy EGLD. And my question to them privately, because I did it, was, are you guaranteeing that this buyback will occur? No, no, we can't guarantee. I'm just saying what's possible. So this is not tangible. This is vapor. Okay, this is not a true answer. If you create a feedback group to bring clarity, and when people ask you this question, you bring a non-tangible answer that you don't even know if it's true. This is not really an honest feedback. Really, this is just like trying to create hype and trying to put, I don't know how to say that in English, but trying to make things smoother. Like trying to
No, it's
tame,
definitely
try to tame the community to stop complaining, right? You just putting some easy things there,
yeah,
or you might get some feedback. And this was one of the things that really opened my eyes to the whole communication thing, because the whole communication, my background is communication. Everybody knows there is a communication problem within the MultiversX Foundation. uh, by my entire time of supporting the project, I thought all of these communication issues were honest mistakes. Now I just think they are mistakes. You know what I mean? Because I really can't believe that this is done without knowing. You don't give these answers because you don't know that this will create hype, but they are not really answering what the community is asking. Uh, Being fair to Benny, he changed it. According to my feedback, he changed the answer and made a more tangible answer. And this was far better. And he explained it better how it could benefit, but again, no tangible things that really brings benefit, just a more honest communication.
that's a problem that we've seen on MultiversX for 3 or 4 years. When they say like concrete things, they don't happen for different reasons. Um, I will not mention all of them. It will take too long. So now I think they are afraid to say concrete things in terms of date, of roadmap, of different things, because they know in a startup journey things are changing like every single day, and so it's difficult to explain the community that they changed their mind or it was more complicated as expected and so on. So that's why I think they try not to be too precise in their explanation, in their strategy. But the problem is, and we'll speak about X money now, when it is about a huge milestone like opening X portal to Sui, or um, opening X money to Sui, because it's actually the same thing in a different manner, in a different financial mechanism. But anyway, it's pretty much the same strategy. It's to make the X product Sui products mostly. So this is so much strategic for the holders, for the community, for the foundation, for like everything that they've been building for years, that you cannot be not precise. It's not you can be blurry a little for some like little things, but when it comes to such strategic steps, it's difficult, and it says a lot about how the founders are lost and they are just trying things. And you know what? They admitted it. I mean, Benjamin so many times explained the mistakes by saying we tried things, we experiment. But when you invest in a startup, it's not just about experimentation. You want a vision, you want something that works. And if the leaders are just trying and failing, maybe the problem is the leaders themselves. Um, so let's go back to the situation that make you and me friend again. X money transition. So I made a lot of posts, and I think 2 or 3 videos about that. So we will not deep dive in the topic, but Can you very um, quickly explain in this transition from UTK to XMN, what was, I don't know, the three biggest red flags, the three main things that makes you think it was not good? Let's say it like this.
Well, a dilution is a dilution for whatever justification you give to it. So when you dilute holders of a token that one of its intention is to work for governance and also as an speculative or investment product, when you dilute the holders, there are negative consequences to these holders. Okay, that's one. That's a fact. If there is dilution, in do you want me to explain dilution to the audience, or is it fine? Uh,
My
do,
mute
do,
button
do,
was
do
my
you
fault.
want me to explain dilution to the audience? Like,
I think the audience understood
yeah,
that when the issuer decides to increase the supply of an asset and to arbitrarily multiply the fully diluted value by 40, I think dilution is pretty
it's
obvious.
clear, right? Yeah. So the dilution is happening. This is fact. And this was one of the only things that I was talking about. I never entered in judgments like, is this good? Is this bad? No, dilution is happening. That was the only thing I was saying. And one thing that I was demanding the X Money team to do was to acknowledge the dilution and to because there the community trusts X Money, right? The community trusts Benny. The community trusts Lucian. The community is trusting Greg because of Benny and Lucian. So that there is all this trust involved. And when they don't acknowledge the problem, and when Vini, that now everybody hates, says there is dilution, and Greg on a spaces say dilution is stupid maths, and Benny endorses that, saying, okay, dilution, it may feel dilutive in the mind of the community. No, it is dilution. Fact, point. Like when there is this conflicting information, you are, whether intentional or not, it's not up to me to judge, misleading the community, right? So the thing that I was trying to, the most important thing to me was for them to be honest with the community and not mislead, whether intentional or not, on the dilution thing, because I think it's really important for people to understand what the dilution, how the dilution will affect them as holders, both in the present and in the future. Um, so yeah, this was the biggest issue to me, and how they dealt with that communication wise was another huge red flag, and another thing that brought doubts to me in all the projects they are involved with. Um, but yeah, I think like if the community understands that they are being diluted and they are not participating in the growth, if the growth ever comes, because they are only diluting things, they are only doing that because they didn't deliver growth, right? If they had delivered growth, this would have never happened. So what they are doing now is saying, we are doing one of the biggest dilutions I have ever seen in crypto. I don't think I recall seeing 10x, 30x dilutions before. It's
No.
huge.
Yeah.
It's absurd in from many aspects. Um, and they are doing that, saying, okay, we are doing that because we will grow. Their track record doesn't show that. It's like, if it's a company that has delivered growth over and over, that has a lot of revenue, that has a good track record, and they are saying, we are diluting to expand and we will grow more than we have already growth, that's still bad in my opinion. But I mean, that's a better justification. But if the company doesn't deliver growth and they are only diluting, and they said that it's either this or that, uh, and they in their saying are only diluting because the project was I think you can say a failure at this point. If they say death, I think we can say failure. If the project is a failure, why should I believe that things will be different now?
Mhm.
So at this point things start looking weird. Things start looking a bit extractive, even, especially because of everything that we have seen in the crypto industry so far. I have 5 years watching projects doing the same playbook and with a not good outlook. So even if I trusted the team before, when I see these things happening, I started to questioning my trust before. I start to doubt,
We'll,
as you call this episode.
we'll, we'll speak about the reaction of Lucian and Benjamin just after, but I sorry to interrupt, but I want to bounce on what you say. And indeed, I've been on crypto industry since 2018, 17 actually. And it's true, I have never seen such dilution. The thing is, and it's an argument from the community, and of course, as always, they just sweep this uh, easily. Is when investors decided to invest in UTK, they invested in a payment processor, and MultiversX Foundation is saying, yeah, but the project is different now. It's about stablecoin, so it deserves to a bigger market cap, a bigger fully diluted value, and a bigger supply.
Can I give you a fun fact here, just because you mentioned that?
Sure.
Plasma, the Tether backed stablecoin focused chain that launched it, they have a valuation of $74 million, not 1 billion like X Money. 74
Fully
million
diluted
dollars.
value,
Sorry?
fully diluted value, or market cap?
No, it was the valuation in one of how much they raised in the seed A, in the seed A.
Because they raised
Funding round.
500 millions, and the fully diluted value
Yeah,
uh,
for the token, right?
is around 7 billion today.
Ah, okay. Yeah. So yeah, my mistake.
So, but they raised, as far as I know, 500 million of dollars, and actually,
Yeah, with retail, right? So I was talking about the first valuation in the CDA
okay,
round that is much lower than 1 billion.
okay,
But yeah, I didn't know they have reached 7 billion. So my mistake.
now it's
Yeah.
7, but the price has increased a lot since TG, so maybe changed a lot. But what you say is interesting because you mentioned plasma, very close to Tether. We could also mention ARC from Base, so USDC, because it's Coinbase and Circle. And these stable coin blockchains have a very big potential because, as you said before, payment is crucial. It's really a critical importance in the ecosystem. So it's not about the strategy. It's completely fine. I think it's a good thing for X Money to launch stable coins and so on. The problem is investors that decided to enter the project because they saw with the acquisition by MultiversX, the fusion between Utrust and TwistPay. So electronic money issuer and a payment processor, it was completely logical that at a time they will make payment, crypto payment, stablecoin. So it's not something completely different, like, oh, you know what, we are launching a new activity, like it will be about a travel resort in Spain. Okay, okay, it's completely different. But like stablecoin is just the natural following of the project when you do payment, when you do crypto. So in my opinion, it's not a sufficient reason to dilute and especially by 40. But anyway, so you mentioned this dilution, but you were not the first. I mean, before you did, I did, DB Crypto did, so many people on the community noticed this. But when you did it, it became personal, as far as I saw in your discussion with the team. So, can you explain how, from fact, it became personal?
Yeah, so when we noted the dilution and we started talking about it, I had even the CFO of X Money commenting on my post that I made about it. Uh, Everything was kept super professional and super objective in the first moment. So I even made a story for CoinSpeaker. I made an interview with the team. I put their perspective there. I shared the facts and some community concerns, uh, and everything was fine until that point. But as things continue, as the issues that I was seeing, as I said, like I was really seeing that the community was being misled in some sense, whether intentional or not. So I felt the need to continue commenting about it. Um, Things start to escalating, right? So at one point, the at, I think the crucial moment there, and where it made personal to me, was when Benny said lied about I'm being paid about other chains. So what happened is that one account that I don't know who owns this account asked Benny a question about the dilution, and Benny's response was that, "Hey, look how funny all these bots and etc." I think everybody saw this post already. So he avoid answering the question directly and blame the account of being a bot, trying to like dismiss the criticisms. And the account made a very respectful question, a very respectful concern. So Benny's answer was misplaced. Um, so what I did was that I said, "Hey, I'm not a bot. If the problem is bots, you know I'm not a bot because I was your ambassador. So I'm not a bot, and I share the same concerns as the account you are saying is a bot. So if you don't want to answer bots or what you think are bots, up to you. But I'm not a bot, so can you answer me?" He didn't, and at the same time, I saw DB Crypto saying something about the bots as well, and I comment there, like, "Hey man, don't do that. It's wrong. Blah blah blah." And Benny and we had a small thread with DB, and I love DB. I really consider him a friend. I have nothing against him. We discuss a thing. We can disagree with things. I think it's normal that we can disagree. So we were discussing, we were disagreeing, and Benny interrupted our conversation and out of place said, "Hey Vini, I love you, bro. You know, friend advice. It's not a friend advice. It's passive aggressive. Friend advice. I know you are being paid by Near and other chains, quote unquote. He literally said that. I know you are being paid by Near and other chains, uh, and you have money bias and etc." He never like really said you are only criticizing me and MultiversX and X Money, and I wasn't even criticizing MultiversX, only X Money, because we're being paid by these chains. But he implied that because he said you have your money bias. Yeah, here I get it. Near and other chains are paying you. Totally fair. It's a free world and everyone makes their own choices. Your money, your biases. So he's saying I have biases and I am commenting on these things because I'm being paid. And that I keep virtue signaling or defending the undefendable. And I don't know what he mean for that. Maybe like the bots. I don't know, but I really don't think a founder should dismiss question just because he thinks are from bots. But yeah, then he tried to convince me to don't be sidelined on X Money and etc. because of my negativity. So at this point, he made things personal, right? He said that I have my biases and I'm only making criticisms because of my bias and because I'm being paid, which is not true. I'm not being paid by these chains, and I'm not being paid to talk bad about X Money or etc. Right? So this is not true. This is simply not true. Um, and he did that to make me the villain and to throw the community against me because that's a strong argument to invalidate an argument. You know, like that's something strong you can say to invalidate. So you are not being genuine, you are not being organic, you are being paid, so people shouldn't listen to you. That's basically what he's that's the message he's sending to the community because he's bothered by the comments I was making. So at this point, he made it personal. He was disrespectful, that talking personally, in the personal matter, uh, and he never acknowledges that or apologizes for that. And I think this is respectful, especially because of our story, right? Because of the support we have, the good relationship we had before that. All of a sudden, boom. But even if we ignore my feelings, and if we ignore the personal aspects of that, that's a red flag. It's a red flag that a co-founder with the size of Benny, 400,000 followers, with a huge reach, needs to lie about people making criticisms to neutralize the criticisms. And he only does that because he can't address the criticisms openly, right? And actually, he could just say, "Yes, you are right. Dilution is happening," um, but and then he gives all his justifications and
Yeah,
sells his product because it's
I
his right. But it's a red flag.
I could not agree more since I was lucky to have some posts from Benjamin sometimes targeting me and sending to me his dogs. He called me before attention whore, vampire, further, of course, it's so easy, but they never accept to answer question, to come here to debate and to discuss uh, or anything. And unfortunately, you um, you you endured this, but it's part of the sectarian mechanisms. You're in it or you're outside. It's not possible to be nuanced or to bring some critics or even some question. But that's something that I am experienced on MultiversX, and I am not the only one. Anyway, Lucian also posted something. I think he deleted it because I could not find it anymore. But he said, Vini, I know you don't like me, but please, next time, be more precise when you make critics. So you had the two Minkus brother on your back. Was it double red flags, or it was already too late for you?
Yeah, I think at this point, as long as Benny can acknowledge that he made a mistake, because people can make mistake. I make mistakes all the time. I made a mistake with you, right? And I think we can acknowledge that and apologize for that and move on. And this is life. So as long as the issue is still open, by Benny not acknowledging or apologizing, yeah, the it is too late, because I think this is the
I think
ultimate red flag, as I said.
Robert apologized a bit
Robert is a good guy.
for
Yeah,
for Benny, but
yeah.
Benny did not.
Benny did not. It means nothing because Robert will never do that. Anyway, um, so yeah, Lucian. We had this with Lucian, but I want to address what you said before. I just forgot. I'll try to get back to that. But this thing with Lucian was funny because Joel, that is a big friend of mine, and he works with Dash, and he was one of the first guys to start accepting crypto and using crypto in his life. So he's a big OG. So he saw my post about Benny. He saw Benny's answer, and he gave his input on that. He said that it was a red flag that a co-founder would behave like that. And Lucian saw that, and Joel has a reach and has a reach outside the MultiversX community. Joel said that, Lucian saw that, and I think he tried, to onboard Joel to MultiversX, and he did that by by trying to villainize me in Joel's thread. So he basically tried to launch Joel against me, and again do the same thing that Benny did, like invalidate my arguments, invalidate everything that I said because of who I was, because of an ad hominem. And he said, "You don't like me." I never had a personal problem with Lucian. I actually really found this guy really bright for implementing sharding for the first time in a blockchain. That's a huge feat, and I always admired him for that. My personal problem with Lucian was similar when I asked a question to him about export on X money before. He said I was fooding, and I saw that as disrespectful. And again, he never acknowledged that, and he never apologized for that. So my personal problem with him started when he showed a personal problem with me. So I didn't have a personal problem with him before. He made it personal. So it's unfair and dishonest to try to blame my arguments and my position to not liking him, because that's one, not what motivates my concerns first. But of course, this affects my trust in the project. So, what you say, is it a double red flag? Yes, of course it is. Was it a red too late? Yes, but this intensifies things. These things compound. The more reasons I see to not trust them, or to not trust the projects they are involved with, the harder it is to regain the trust. Trust needs to be built. You can destroy trust and you can rebuild trust, but it's not an easy thing to do. Once trust is broken, it's really hard to build. And I remember what I wanted to comment, because you comment that you can't be nuanced, whether you are with them or against them, and this is because of what they created, the environment they created. This is a polarizing environment, and I don't think this is a smart strategy at all, because when you polarize people, uh, you make things harder for you. I wouldn't be talking about these things if I wouldn't be polarized. Joel would probably never saw the red flags he saw by Ben's post if Ben didn't try to polarize me outside of his circle. So I don't think it's a smart strategy at all. If you are a founder and you want to onboard as much people as possible, being builders, being users, being investors, and so on, content creators, you can't be polarizing people all the time, uh, because you will either have people that love you or hate you, and it's easier to hate than to love, and that's the truth. And if they continue to do that, they will have more and more and more people that doesn't like them, that doesn't trust them, and so on. And it's pretty funny because you mentioned how I popped into the MultiversX ecosystem. I was one of the few newer addition to the community, if you can say so, in the last one year or more. Uh, I had no biases at all before that. I wasn't polarized. I simply saw a project that was making me enthusiastic about, and I was hyped about it, and I saw possible investment opportunities in it, and I saw like a good technology, and I started talking about it and bull posting about it, etc. But at one point, I started being polarized in the negative direction because of Benny and Lucian's actions. And what this proves is that they couldn't retain me, and this is not my fault. And some people say I'm trolling, and of course I was some. Uh, I try to laugh about some things as well, right? So I am human. I want to have some fun as well. So, and when we can have honest conversations, and when all the honest conversations and honest concerns and honest discussions are neutralized by ad hominem, by making things personal, as Benny and Lucian did, there's nothing left else for me to have honest discussions. So yeah, of course, I'll be laughing about the maxis that are saying that, hey, Vini, you become a troll, go away. Yeah, I'm laughing about you. It's funny. So, and this will probably validate what your thoughts about me, that I'm being a troll. But I was polarized into this direction, and I don't think it was my fault, because I was more nuanced before. And when I tried to be nuanced, they polarized me. So if right now I don't trust MultiversX and I don't want to post about MultiversX, even though I like a lot of people from the community, a lot of builders, and I like a lot of projects that are building on MultiversX, and I do, I'm not comfortable promoting the project anymore because I don't trust it, because I see red flags in it, and because I don't want to be associated with it anymore. And honestly, I don't think it's my fault. Maybe it is, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it is. And this is a direct conclusion and effect of the what you described, of either you love us or hate us, of this polarization, and they should stop it. If they want multiverse to grow, they should stop polarizing people and should start being more nuanced and accepting more nuances from now on.
I agree with you 100%, and we can see that the multiverse community is becoming like smaller and smaller and smaller, and in every movement, the less you are, the more polarized you are, the more extreme you are, and in hard time, you just want people that are 100% with you, and you want to like remove every people that are just like 90% and so on. So I think yes, the result of this strategy will not be good for multiverse. And now the governance vote has been uh, validated, so it's a yes. It's a great yes. The democracy has spoken. So the dilution will happen. The migration will happen. We'll see if we were right to warn the community about this move, or maybe we were wrong and it's a great stuff for X Money, for MultiverseX, for EGLD. I'll be there to comment this. I don't know if you will be there too. What's your project as a writer, content creator? Will you continue to follow MultiverseX a bit? Not at all. So yeah, what will you do?
Well, I do have what I believe are friends that I made in the community, so I'll keep following their projects. I don't plan to keep posting about MultiversX. If I see anything that is really super great and super worth talking about, I might highlight some things. But I don't plan to use my time or to use my timeline on X for that. As I said, I don't want to be associated with a project that a co-founder behaves like Vini behaved, as long as the issue remains. And there are a lot of interesting things happening in Web3 and crypto. There is no point for me in being stuck with a project under these conditions, you know. So I might keep following, but it will depend on the algorithm. I'm not searching for these things anymore. Sometimes it still pop on my timeline. I comment when I think I have to comment. I like things that I think are worth liking. Um, but it will depend on how things go algorithm wise, or if I started seeing some good actions. I mean, why not? You know, like as I said, trust can be rebuilt. It's not the end game, but it will be hard. It will be hard after everything that I saw. It will be hard, but it can happen. So I'll be following, not actively following. I'm focused on other stuff. I have a limited attention to give and limited time to spend. But if I see a good move in a good direction, and not by words, by actions, yeah, of course, why not?
Okay, I got it. I got it. Thank you very much, Vinay, for coming and explaining from hype to doubt about multiverse. I wish you all the best for your projects. And it's not impossible that we meet again uh, about multiverse or maybe about other topic. Um, and it will be a pleasure to agree, to disagree, and sometimes to agree. But that's part of the Twitter game, and especially about human relationship, to agree, not to disagree, but to try to be on facts and arguments and not personal attacks. And this is something that we can do together. I'm sure about it.
Yeah, of course. And thank you very much for this space. I just want to say that I started this at 6 a.m. To me, I had just woke up, and go easy on the clips.
Okay, so have a
Yeah,
good day and
you
thank you
too.
for waking up that early. Enjoy your day. And if I come to Brazil, I'll send you a message because
Yeah, sure. Do
it's
it.
a place my boyfriend really wants to visit. So we'll go there eventually. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, you'll be welcome.
Thank you very much. Take
Yeah,
care. Bye
you
bye,
too.
Vinny.
Bye
Bye
bye,
bye.
Jerem.
Thank you, everyone, for watching this GM Web3 dedicated to MultiversX. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, to comment, and to share the video to your friends who wants to know more about MultiversX. The good part, the interview with Andrew, and the maybe more blurry part, the interview with Vini. Take care of yourselves. See you next Wednesday for a new GM Web3 dedicated to MultiversX. Bye bye.